Nerevar, I found this book in your room. Well, book is charitable, it looks quite hastily written, and it's more like a journal. The 37th sermon of Vivec. First of all, why do you have this? And second, I'm fairly certain he only had 36.
Oh, that is a new one. And I was actually going to share it with you later. He wrote it for, well, sort of for us. The three of us, he knows you aren't the sermon writing type, so he took the liberty.
Let me see here. Sermon 37, the Triune Ascendance. Then Vivec ventured forth under the heart of Red Mountain, for the tribunal of yesteryear was broken. So the Sil, a pillar of order, succumbed to the weight of knowledge and fell to madness not unlike those drawn by the allure of Hermaeus Mora. Almalexia saw but one way forward, to confront Sotha Sil and end this madness under her own power. She strode forward, unshaken in her determination, and yet a sacrifice was necessarily made. In casting down the mad god, she lost not only her divine power, but her spark of divinity itself. Nerevar, this is ridiculous. Almalexia tried to kill you and might try again if Azura has anything to do with it. Why spin this to look like a noble sacrifice?
Well, I mean, Vivec thought if we put it in like that, it might be easier for me to slip into her role.
Oh, taking the role of the protector, the compassionate, away from her? Stealing the crown of the beloved Mother Morrowind? Now that I can get behind. Fine, I suppose I'll read the rest. With the loss of both Sotha Sil and Almalexia, 2 places within the tribunal were left vacant. The weight of this responsibility was a heavy one, for Vivec understood the need to preserve the balance of the Blessed Three. And lo! Amidst this sundering came the Nerevarine, born again from the shadows of death. This soul, bound, determined to save its truest friend from that which is worse than death, caused itself to be spawned from a union between one incarnation and the Father of the Mountain. But only through death could it spring, and so from a dying womb did this spirit pass, given the hope that could only come forth from new life. Vivec saw the burning resolve of the child Nerevarine, whose pure and unyielding love was as a spark to kindling in the divine fire home. He set forth to guide the child Nerevarine, and became his mentor when all other allies fell away and the child spark stood alone. This is flowery even for Vivec, Nerevar, but I suppose it's always been his way.
At least you get to stand here and just read it. I had to stand there and listen to Vivec dictate it. I wrote a copy. His disciples were writing. It was, well, just keep reading.
Long did the child Nerevarine endeavor to turn the father from his shadow-choked path, and long did she fail, for she knew not of the true path. So came she to Vivec, asking her once friend for help to erase together what could not be done alone. So he walked, with her and with one of hidden scales to witness, to Red Mountain to forge a new triune. They found the father, tendrils of madness choked him and devoured his once noble spirit. Joined with Vivec was the child spark's power brought to roaring purpose, and thus they struck asunder the dire murk in the sacred moment. From the fires of compassion, from this sacred moment came the Father, soul cleansed, redeemed. The affliction once plaguing him fled for its shadow of oblivion. And so to Vivec and the child spark, a new truth came, a truth seen only after the ending of transformation. Witness that even the darkest soul may know peace, the Father said. I am remade from the ash and flame. Nerevar, come on, this is getting, well, it was already ridiculous, but now it's just getting weird. Did Vivec really expect me to agree with all this nonsense?
He said it wasn't you he has to convince, it's the rest of Morrowind, and this is how he writes. So, well, you get the idea. The point is to make it sound like his idea, because they trust him.
Fine. At least there's not much more to go. The Nerevarine child spark, chosen by fate and burdened by the weight of its expectation, stood as a beacon of hope in the chaos that had soaked House Dagoth to the bone. Spirit unyielding, resolve unshakable. The strings of destiny were plucked, and they became as a bridge between worlds, transcending mortal limitations, shaping the course of a new destiny. The Father, once consumed by the snaking mire of corpus and noble ambitions twisted to ill purpose, cast off the corruption and embraced the compassion always so close, and yet so far. And so the triune rose, the lost finding solace in the embrace of unity as past wounds torn open by the strain of time isolated from itself closed and finally began to heal. The sacred moment passed, there was now a new union to make, A pact and pledge followed thereafter, for the Triune reformed was done for the peace that Vivec fought to establish. From the fires they come forth, the father of the mountain and the daughter of Morrowind. Go forth, my disciples, and carry with you the message of unity. Let Sermon 37 be etched into your very bones. Profound collaboration may spring divine from the greatest of conflicts. May love and understanding follow, for compassion is a greater force than any ever thought to ruminate upon. The aspects of the Almcivi were one alive and two spiritless, and so the Tribunal once was broken, then to be reforged. Commit to your hearts and minds this sermon, that you may understand well the struggle and submission, the pain and the gladness, the hurt and the healing. The beginning of the words is Nerevarine. He couldn't come up with anything better than that. Well, I suppose it's better than saying I'm an aspect of Sotha Sil or his reclamation or some nonsense like that. But really, Nerevar, I feel nothing but pity for you, having to stand there and listen to this. Considering the power he has over our public perception, I hate that we have to be grateful to him.